Hey you guys, I'm here to give you my review of the latest Naruto Shippuden episode 464. So we start off the episode with Hagoromo approaching, I'm sorry, pretty much in his best Force Ghost impression, aka Star Wars, pretty much appearing in front of, the four Hokages. And he says to them, my name is Hagoromo, I am the Sage of Six Paths. And everyone's kind of like in shock and shit. And he pretty much lets everyone know that Naruto and Sasuke are currently fighting my mother Kaguya, and that they have taken the souls of Ashara and Indra, into their being and all that shit. So pretty much he tells the first Hokage that he has Ashara and Indra's soul intertwined with his. He represents Ashura, and Indra represents Madara. He says that he knows everything, like the full picture now of how this came to be with his mother's third son, Zetsu, who he says everyone knows at this point, obviously, being responsible for everything and how they manipulated and planned all this shit, like literally taking like thousands upon thousands of years for them to finally achieve their goal. And he said, like, the only way, for you guys to truly like help Naruto and Sasuke, if you understand the background, to understand back during my time, after my brother Hamura and I sealed off Kaguya in the first place, and Hamura went back to the moon to look over his mother. So pretty much, the episode begins with Hagoromo pretty much departing from his village and the Toad. As of right now, I'm kind of blank on the Toad's name. Sorry. But yeah, anyways, he tells the Toad that he's leaving for two purposes. One, to sort of repay the land, to restore the land from all the ravages, that's happened to it due to him and his brother Hamura finding his mother, which took several months. And the second purpose is to, I believe, had something to do with the 9 tails that he took from the 10 tails. So yeah, so he goes on his way. Before he goes on his way, the Toad tells him that he had a dream, and he says, when Toads dream, which is rare, they always come true. He says there's gonna be a blue-eyed, boy who's gonna muse the name of, the tail, something along them lines, and that something special about this kid. So Hagoromo was saying, okay, this is supposed to happen years upon years from now. So what's the point of me going on this little journey of mine? Is it pointless? And the guy says, fate happens. Shit happens to you, bro. Hopefully fate will allow us to meet again. So he goes back, the Toad goes back to the water, and Hagoromo's on his journey. So while he's on this journey, he meets this thief whose name is Fatumi. And apparently Hagoromo is trying to fix a bridge because he knows by fixing the bridge, it helps everyone, benefits everyone. So this thief is saying, dude, don't fuck with this half-broken bridge. I'm a thief, but I have to make a living in some way, some shape, some form, some fashion. Usually when people get to this point, I kind of charm them and all that stuff about helping them to take their shit. And I got these fast-ass legs right here, and I be out and all that shit. So pretty much Hagoromo was saying, well, you're a thief, so you just steal from other people. So I really don't give a shit what you're going to do. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to continue on, building this bridge. And you can say if you want, pretty much. But you ain't going to stop me. So there's this really intense scene after he says that, in which Fatumi tries to get in his face, and Hagoromo's just laughing, like, really? You? I dealt with Kaguya. You are nothing. And Fatumi gets nervous and scared. And then he just sort of gets back in his little corner. And he notices Hagoromo just cutting down trees, like, boom, boom, with just brute strength. And he's like saying, damn, how the fuck can this guy do it? And he tries to lip on the trees. He's like, fuck, this is bullshit. So he pretty much tells Hagoromo after that, you know what? You can build your little bridge, but after you do, I'm going to destroy it. And Hagoromo just laughs and shit. So eventually, as time wears on, Fatumi eventually starts helping him, and they build a friendship and all that stuff. So at one point, you have Hagoromo joking that, you know what? If we build this bridge too sturdy, you might break one of your bones, So eventually the people are watching them, and they help them. They help them, and it's successful. and everyone's overjoyed, including Fatumi. So he sees Hagoromo leaving. He says, "Let me join you," and all that stuff. And Hagoromo's like, "Oh, really? Why?" Because he says, "You know what? I enjoyed, helping those people. It made me feel good. Made me feel even better than me just stealing and being a thief and all that shit." So they just go on their way, and they have this really beautiful scene in which they're by the campfire, and Hagoromo says, "You learned, pretty much that by doing good for people, it makes you feel good. And by you making you feel good, you want to do more good deeds and all that stuff." So, yeah. So, at some point, Fatuma's like, "You know what? I could tell there's something special in you, and I would be really appreciative if you just let me be your apprentice." Hagoromo was like, "Really?" And Fatuma's like, "Yes." And Hagoromo pretty much grabs his hand, and he gives us of his chakra. And he says, "You taught me another lesson, and gave me another purpose, which would be purpose number 3, and that is to share my chakra with people, which in a way is like sharing our souls, like peace and all that shit." So as time goes on, Hagoromo and Fatumi, they start gathering larger and larger following. In a way that kind of reminds me, in the Christian way of Jesus, as he kept on going, for purpose and all these good deeds, whatever. He got a large following. People just gather around him and all that stuff. So eventually, with all those damn followers, Hagoromo began preaching. You get what I did? Anyways, he begins pretty much teaching Ninshu, which is the ninja creed, to his AKA Japanese / disciples and all that good stuff. So a good portion of them, after some time, they eventually leave and they just disperse into different regions of the world. Another thing that should be noted is that while he's traveling with his main apprentices, is the fact that they sort of put the tail beasts in specific places and to represent those specific places, there were shrines and temples made. So eventually Hagoromo returns back to his village. He marries. He has 2 children, Ashura, Indra first, because Indra's the oldest, and Ashura. So apparently his wife dies after Ashura's birth, and it shows that the brothers have a really great relationship. That Indra, ironically, is the most kind. He's the most caring of the brothers, while the other one's also very kind, but he was always chasing his elder brother Indra. So pretty much this is when the end of the episode occurs, with Hagoromo saying that he had no idea that his mother and Zetsu were planning on to manipulate his sons. So yeah, that's pretty much my review of Naruto Shippuden episode 464. And in regards to the preview next week, it seems as though we're gonna have an Indra Ashura split at some point. So yeah, thank you for watching. Like my video, leave comments down below, and adios, people.